Welcome. Welcome to Spud Sanctuary. I'm Big Potato. I'm going to do a tutorial video on oxygen not included starting from day 0. Hopefully this will be useful to you, and this is how I would have approached the game. And this is the first of the series, so we will start from a Terra asteroid. I am going to be on the survival difficulties, but feel free to go to no sweat, because that, just enjoy, I guess. I will use the classic asteroid as a template background. Feel free to try out the space out, even the lab, it doesn't matter. But this is a tutorial that aims to help you start off your colony from day 0. So let's start. When you start the game, you're gonna be choosing one of the asteroids that best suited for your challenge. And today we are going to start on the very basic asteroid. Now different asteroids, the differences are they will give you different challenges. There are certain resources that are going to be different. Story traits, I'm going to take them off for the purpose of this tutorial, but they each poses their benefit and challenges, so don't worry about those for the time being. That's not the focus of this tutorial, so let's go start. As the game starts, you are given 3 duplicates that you can sort of randomize at the very beginning. Now, I prefer to choose one researcher, one really good researcher, one really good builder, and one really good digger. That's because at the very beginning, at least the first 10 to 20 cycles, that's the most of the things you are going to do. That's going to be your research, you're going to be digging, you're going to be building, right? That's the focus. Now, you'll be given 3 choices as I said. You can actually click the triangle on the left top corner. It will give you a choice. So the first one will be a researcher, the second one I'll prefer to be having a digger, and the last one will be a builder. Now so for this you can see they always come with a researching. If you say researcher, if you say it's a digger, they will always have a digging trait or an interest, right? They're interested in digging, they're interested in building. You need to really avoid bad traits, the red ones. So for example, Stinky in the middle here, the trait is increased air consumption rate. This, I believe, doubles the air consumption rate, so they will take in more oxygen. That is really, really bad. At least now it's really, really bad from the beginning when oxygen is somewhat limited. Okay, so we don't want this. So how do we do it? We tell it to re-roll on the very top. We're just going to tell it to re-roll. And we re-roll for a really, really good digging. Like really, really high digging, because we have a lot to dig through. Something like that would be really good. So Catalina, the name has changed, the dupe has changed. So we've got Catalina at 8. The maximum is +9, right? Without a really, really bad trait complementing it. Now the maximum of a normal is a 9. Now plus handy is a really, really good a good trade, good positive trade, because you will be doing construction a lot. So this is a good digging dupe. Small bladder just means they fill up a little bit quicker. It's a very, very, very tiny negative trait, and sometimes it's probably not even a negative trait anyway, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Alright, let's go to our scientist. Let's have a look at our scientist. Lindsay here has a science +10. Now anything over +9, that means you are getting a bad negative trait. Okay, this is a bad negative trait. It's not too bad, okay, because your researcher is going to be stuck there doing your research. This person is not going to go around and start building things often, apart from the first day. So this will be impacting you on your first day. Okay? So you gotta be very mindful of this. Often I tend to avoid building impaired. So let's roll it a couple of times. Okay, this is actually a pretty good dupe, even though they have a noodle arm negative trade. Okay, the reason being, we have science +5, and we rolled a positive trade of increased science. So we get, as a total, we get +8 science. That's really good. And we have a supplying trade, a supplying interest. That means we can carry more stuff, +4. However, the noodle arm gives us a -3. So in the end, the net is a +1 supply. Now what you will find with early researching is the research station uses dirt, and you need to carry that dirt to your research station, and that costs strength. So having 1 extra strength, which is 40 extra kilos, that could mean you carry 1 less trip. And that means this scientist will be sitting at the research station a little bit longer. So this is a good dupe to start off, okay? Although you have noodle arm, it's okay. We have strength to offset it. But now if you don't, if you get a +9 science, perfect. That's a good dupe to go. As long as you don't get a very, very bad negative. Alright, Amari here is our construction person. He's going to be building a lot. However, he's got bottomless stomach, which means he eats 500 calories more, and that's really bad at the beginning when your food is very hard to combat. Later on, maybe after cycle 50 or 70, depending on how fast you're going, your food will stabilize and become infinite as you play. So right now, that's bad trade. We can't take this dupe as a beginning dupe. Let's reload. Now, bear in mind, we are looking for a high construction dupe. Okay, this one. Yodel. Nobody's gonna do research apart from Camille over here. That's our researcher. She's going to be the only one allowed to do research. So this is not a bad dupe. You can take it. A bit of agriculture is never gonna hurt. That means he's gonna farm a little bit faster if you are going to do farming. I prefer to have a +9. The bottomless stomach, that's a no. Snores loudly. Loud sleeper. You really have to, basically what it means is that dupe has to sleep a little bit further away from everyone else, so they don't disturb other people's. It's not a bad trade, but we're looking for a higher construction, so we're gonna roll it a little bit higher. Okay, this one is actually not bad. It's not bad. This positive trade is actually not good because creativity is not used by anyone. And the bonus you get is actually a negative morale penalty, so that's not very good. That's actually a negative trade. I would consider this interior decorator. There's another positive trade I would also consider negative if we see it. Decrease to germ resistance is a very, very tiny loss, and germ is not a concern if you play it right. Alright, this one. Okay, cool. This one's actually really good. We have uncultured. They have a decor bonus, and they can't do decorating. Alright, we're not going to do decorating anyways. Right? We're going to get somebody who is focused on artist later on to do arts. But that's way later on. We're not going to worry about artistic designing and decor until much later, because that's not our immediate concern. This is a good dupe. Critter aversion, husbandry. We will get a rancher or husbandry dupe very, very soon. So, or at least we aim to, okay? Now, we're gonna give a tutorial. Tutorial. Is that how you spell it? Doesn't matter. Alright, so this is day 0. You pick your dupes. I tend to focus on one researcher, one digger, one builder, because that's the three things you'll be doing the most in the first 10 or 20 days. Okay? I believe even like 20, 40, 50 days, you'll still be doing most of that. Okay, let's embark. So we're gonna land on our planetoid. Alright, let's begin. Now, first thing first, we're gonna pause and just look around and have a look at what's around your base to understand what you will be facing. Your duplicants are going to need oxygen, food, and they need to go to the toilet to relieve themselves, and they will breathe out carbon dioxide. So initially, what we get is we will already have always have some oxalate over here, this greenish blue teal colored bubbly material. They will emit oxygen for us, so we don't have to worry about that immediately, so that's not a concern. And plus, we have quite a few patches of oxalate, so our oxygen supply is not going to be an immediate concern. Like there's a patch over here and a patch over here, right? There's quite a bit. Now also, we need to have a look at the carbon dioxide side. Where are the carbon dioxide? There's a lot of carbon dioxide down there because they're black. There's a little bit of carbon dioxide floating up here, and they're very in high concentration. There's 2 kilos of that. 1.5. This is only 1 kilo, just under 1 kilo. And over here, there's another kilo per tile of carbon dioxide here. So you can decide whether you want to dig into that or not. All right. Second thing, as I said, we need food. Food on the left top corner, you will see there's a fork and a knife, and next to it is a number. There is 16,000 kilocalories of food, and their nutritional bar in the pink text. There's nutrition bar. Now, where are they? They are in this ration box. There's 20 kilo of them, which equates to 16,000 calories, or 16,000 kilocalories of food. Now, what does that mean to a dupe? A dupe requires 1,000 kilocalories a day per cycle. A cycle is a day. All right. So what that means is we have 3 dupes. They're gonna consume 3,000 kilocalories every cycle. That 16 kilocalories will last us just a little bit over 5 cycles. So we can go to cycle 6 before we run out of food. Right? So that's not an immediate problem, but we need to sort of quite imminent. It's coming around the corner. So we need to make sure that's what's happening. Now, last most important thing, they need to go to the toilet. Right? This is actually our focus of the first cycle, is to build a toilet for them where they go and relieve themselves. Now, toilet, when they do go relieve themselves, will create germs. That's the first day, is really about containing all your germs in your toilet. Make sure your dupes has a place to wash their hands. Now, how do you wash hands? We use water to wash hands. Okay, so there are buildings in here that's ready to go that we'll need to deal with, that we will need to use to build and make sure that our duplicants wash their hands. So, okay, so the things we take care of: oxygen, it's okay, we got plenty for the start. Food, we got plenty for the first 3 days. Carbon dioxide they breathe out, it's okay. They're not gonna get too over. You know, we just gotta dig something. The carbon dioxide will sink to the bottom. We're not gonna worry too much about that. Okay. Number 4 is relieving themselves. Relieving themselves is the other most important thing in the first day. Okay. So we're gonna decide to build a toilet basically for them. Now, a toilet we need to decide where to put it. Okay. All right. And also, we can't build anything down there. There's nothing because we have no material. First thing we're gonna get them to do is just start digging. All right. You can see there's a bit of water that's a little bit higher than here. So we're gonna try to access this water and see what we can get out of this. Now, we're gonna dig this out. Okay, now before we unpause the game, we need to do two more things. First thing is the priority. I know we haven't even started the game yet. So the priority, I like to, oh, sorry, clicked the wrong button. I like to say everybody attack, because when this is an issued command, and I put the life support on a relative high priority, and toggling on absolutely high. The reason being is the the attacking and toggling, they're pretty much you ask them to do, right? It's a player issued command, and when you issue those commands, you want everybody that is able to do it, like right then and there, because that's generally a very important task to do. Otherwise, those never gonna happen. So you shouldn't have any attacking happening at all, because the dupes don't default to attack. They don't default to just randomly toggle things. So you can put it on high priority, and it wouldn't affect any of their daily tasks. All right, we are going to actually shut off cooking, shut off decoration, and also shut off researching to everybody from the very, very top. Except we're going to allow Camille to research. So now we have stopped everyone to be researching and only Camille. Okay? Operating is fine, because right now we don't have any machines that we are operating. That's okay. We don't have any farms yet. We don't have any ranching. So these three skills will come in later, but we're going to ignore for this first 3 days. Now, we have Bubbles. I'm going to ask her to do a lot. We have Catalina. I'm going to ask her to do a lot. Now, Catalina is also got a +3 construction, remember. I'm going to ask her to do a little bit of digging. If she has no digging to do, she's going to help building. Okay. Now, the other thing is I like to turn off a little bit lower priority for the rest of the things that they cannot build or dig. For those duplicates. So, for example, if Camille have nothing to do, she's going to look for operating or farming or ranching, something like tidying up, looking after other duplicates, support, putting things for the building, supplying, putting things into the storage bin. All right, it's going to do that, and then if that is done, then she will go on to building and digging. Similarly for Bubbles, I don't want Bubbles to spend time digging because she's not really that good at it. Leave the digging out for Catalina. All right, priority set it like this. That's how I would like to do it. That's how I tend to play my game with this kind of setup. All right, now next one, schedule. I like to add a new schedule. For the first day, it is very crucial that we get the toilet done. So I'm going to rechange this schedule into this. Cool. And then move everybody into this schedule. Reason why? I want to maximize as much as work time as possible and give them 2 downtime is probably the minimum amount of time they need to sort of go to toilet, wash their hands, grab something to eat, socialize for a little bit, and then go straight to bed. That's the first day. Maybe the second day. We'll see how they go in terms of how this map plays out. For the first default one, don't care. Okay, I'm going to change this one to schedule 1. That's the primary schedule L4 Dupe. Now that's when this is all set up. We're going to unpause the game and let them dig. Okay, let them dig. Okay, they started digging. we are having some material now. You can see some of the buttons are no longer gray. You can see we can build ladder. So ladder will allow us to go up or down, you know, wherever you build it, they can climb up. So what I'm gonna do is putting some ladders so we can go a bit higher. And at the same time, I'll dig a little bit more down here to allow the water flow in a little bit. So now what you will find is the digging job. Let's see what Bubbles is doing. Bubble is doing construction supply, right? Camille is also doing construction supply. Remember, she's no longer going to be digging. She doesn't want to do digging. And Catalina is our digger. She's going to continue to dig. Alright. Alright, so everybody's prioritizing their work. They're going to start digging, digging, digging. Alright. And the builder will help build. Camille here is always going to be prioritizing supply first. I want to just dig out a little bit to lower the water. Okay, we got the build, the digging, digging, digging. Now, what you will see, this is the material overlay. The black bit is the carbon dioxide. The blue bit is the oxygen. You can see oxygen's up here pretty much, and then the carbon dioxide will sink down. And this is where you don't have to worry about the carbon dioxide for the time being for the first 1, 2, 3 turn. Alright. Looks like we dug out a little bit more. We are going to Alright, we found something here. What is this? This is a muck root. Each muck root is 800 kilocalories of food. And you can see now our calorie has gone up to 16,800. Over here, make sure your ration box is ticked to receive muck root. Otherwise, no duplicate will put it in there. And this is the same with all the storage bins. Alright, let's dig out a little bit. So remember, we need water to wash hands. Now, Catalina is digging inside water. She is not having a good day, so we're gonna get her out of there. Alright, Camille's helping digging now because she has nothing else to do. She's already coming and collected. Alright, look. And Catalina is now idle because she has nothing else. Camille is idle. She's got nothing else to do. There's only 2 digging that they can access. We're gonna have to put in a pitcher pump. A pitcher pump will basically allow us to access the water that's here. Now, so now we can access the water. This will allow us to pump out the water. Okay, now we're gonna decide where to put our toilet. Now, when we talk about spaces and where to put things, we need to decide, we need to know how big, how tall, how wide do we need to dig out empty spaces up. So, a duplicate can reach, if Camille stands here, they can reach up here. Okay? They can reach basically 4 height, and this will be the standard height of all of your rooms moving forward. And that means if this is 4 height, and we need a floor, and this will be 4 height. Alright? So we're going to dig that out. This will be our toilet location. Now, how much do we need to dig in to allow all of our duplicates to wash their hands? So we will have the door here, and then we will have your wash basin, and then you will have your toilet. This will be the area that you need to allow toilet. This is where I decided to put it over here. So let's cancel that first. Oh, let's cancel these first. Let's just focus on digging it out. Alright. Now you can see another muckroot has dropped out. Now our calorie is 17.6. We're gonna keep on, raising the ladder and keep on going up. Now a sand has fallen down, and it has crushed some of our material that's under there. Not a big deal. We can always ask them to dig it out later on. So for now, we are just going to ask them to quickly dig out an area. Hey, you can see there's a lot of muckroots dropping out. Alright. So once we have sort of pushed through the area, we're going to build our toilet. We don't need that. In our toilet, we need to make this into a room. Now, unfortunately, we don't have enough metal. So this is copper, is our metal. We can find more metal over here. And that is another 170 kilo. Alright. We are a little bit low on metal from this map. Now there is quite a bit of metal over here. We might just access that area, ask them to dig it out, and also over here there's a bit of metal. Okay? So metal is gonna be required for the next thing we're gonna do. When we come to it, I'll explain a bit more. But first of all, we need to absolutely make sure that they have places to wash their hand. And you can see that the team works really well. Catalina is digging things through. Camille is helping. But Bubble is really our big builder. Now, we're gonna build the 3 outhouses. As Camille goes through this area. We get some more muckroot as well. Alright. Once the wash basin is done, I'm gonna just put in another toilet. Once the wash basin is done, you're gonna find Camille going down to the water, the pitcher pump, and she's gonna go, grab some water, come back up, and put in the washer, right? The wash basin. Alright? Perfect. Let's build a couple tiles up here just so to close it in as a room. Now, once these are done, and Camille will slowly fill up all of these wash basins. Now you can see on top of the wash basin there are arrows. This dictates which direction that the dupe is going to wash their hands as they approach the wash basin. So at the moment it's set on both directions, so if your dupe is going in with germs, they'll wash their hands, and when they come out, they will also wash their hands if they got germs. Now we don't want them to do that. Okay, we don't want them to do it because that's a waste of water. What will happen is they'll convert this clean water into dirty water. Yeah, we're just gonna turn the arrow around. Now, of course, if your toilet is on a different side, you might want to turn the arrow on the other direction. Okay. All right, so we do that. The other thing is these outhouses will produce polluted dirt if they are filled up. We're going to give them a very, very high priority on the building itself. So if they are filled, somebody is gonna come in and plunge the poo-poo out. And also on the germ overlay, this is the germ overlay on the right hand top corner. I'm just gonna turn off the disinfection, because it's if you look after your colonies well, it's not going to be an issue. All right, once the toilet is done. All right, once the toilet is done, we have a look at our schedule. We're about halfway through the day, not just under halfway. We still have a bit of time left over. We are going to get them to look after their to sleep. We're going to sleep. Now, the sleeping is not a big deal. Okay, sleeping is not a big deal. Where they sleep on the first cycle, only on the first day. First day, it's okay. It's a small thing. If they sleep on the floor, they just get a sore back. Okay, it only means they're gonna move a little bit slow. It's not a big debuff. Right? So we're gonna dig an area out for them. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna dig this area out for them to sleep. Now what's Camille doing is she is coming in to fill up the dirt. Now did we get a little bit more copper? We got 245 copper. Okay, that's enough. That's not enough for what we need to do next. That's right, let's fix up our bedroom next. You can see Camille is supplying. Bubble's doing this because she's got soggy feet. She's not she's hungry. She's a bit stressed out. Right? She's shivering because she's been in the water bringing up some dirt. So we don't want a lot of the things inside the water. See, Camille is doing the storing. Okay, next thing is I am going to make our bedroom out here. We're just gonna dig it out a little bit, maybe not as far as not as far as over there. Now we need 3 cots. We're just gonna 1, 2, 3. Alright, just gonna dig something out, and you can just dig like that. Right, once Catalina has done her digging, you can tell them to start building the next one. And now Camille, the priority is now kicking in because Camille is not, she doesn't have anything to research at the moment. So she's not prioritizing building and digging. So every time a macro comes out, she pick it up and put it into the box. Picks it up, put it in the box. All right. So we've dug out basically our bedroom. Okay. Next thing is we need to build a science. So let's have a look. So the bedroom's pretty much done. So the schedule, we still have some time left over on the first day. Alright. The next most important thing is doing science. Now doing science is over here, and we need a research station, and you can see we are missing metal, 400 kilos of it. How much copper do we have? 45 kilo. That's nowhere near enough. So we need to find somewhere where there are lots of metal. Now we have some metal here. Right, we have some metal here. They are each so it says it's 347, but when you dig it out, you lose half of it. Okay, so that's the next thing we're gonna do is just put a tile here, and also put a tile here. So what will happen? That the metal will be dug up. These will appear on top, however these will fall on the bottom, which we can't access. So let's have a look, see what's gonna happen. See, Camille picked up 240 sandstone, and they're gonna start building it. Okay, Camille's gonna supply everything. Alright, we got some more copper, but that's not enough to build our science station just yet. Alright, we got a little bit more. And as you can see, when we build a tile, when there's nothing underneath it, it all falls to the bottom. Okay. Now we have enough copper ore. In fact, I'm going to tick off a few things that I always want to look at. One is copper ore, one is algae, that'll come in handy later, and okay, let's just say copper ore for now. When we deal with algae, I'll show you the algae. So we've got 565 kilos of copper ore right now. That's enough to build a science station. Oh, what is this icon here? This doesn't, you know, I haven't seen this on any other other buildings, not the cods, not the toilets. That means the science station actually needs power. It needs 60 watts of power. Oh no! How do we produce power? The power is this one, electricity. We need to generate power, store power, and conduct power, right? To generate power, we need manual generator. Oh no, it needs more copper. So, we need to access these copper that's fallen down. Okay. So we just build some tiles across and dig our way through. Let's dig. Yeah, let's build some tile first so things don't fall down to the bottom. Because if they fall down into the water, I don't want the dupes to actually go into the water. And also, where are we going to set up our power station? Right? Where is that going to be? I prefer to just set it up on the left-hand side of the research station. So digging something out like that, maybe that as well. Now I purposely left this little corner. Oh, come here please. Do not get stuck in here. Alright. Sorry, I'm just afraid that they might get stuck in there. Alright, we're just gonna dig out a little bit more. Okay, so we're just gonna solve... See, this is the problem that we created for ourselves. We need to do some research, but at the same time, researching cost metal, right? We need metal to do this kind of stuff. Alright, we just keep on gonna dig out some of the nice areas. Now this one is what muckroot looks like when it's buried. This is a muckroot. So if you dig out, instead of digging out the muckroot, you can just dig out a tile underneath it. And that will dig out a muckroot as well. Alright, we have opened up more areas. Okay, so we've dug out a little area over here. Now we have enough metal to put in a manual generator. I like to put it 1, 2, so 4 tiles. So this is 4 tiles away from the printing pot. I am planning for my next move. So put a manual generator down. Now remember, we need batteries. Right? Oh, we are already low on metal again. So let's see. And look, there's some extra metal here. There's some extra metal here. And some extra metal here. You can just pick them out. Alright. And also, we have dug through to our metal that we have dug through from the top. However, you can see that it says unreachable. That means that it's too far in and our dupe can't reach it. What you can do, the simplest way, is just, just dig it all the way down. Just let it fall down. Alright, now that we have more metal, we are going to solve our power problem. Now we need a generator, storage, and cable to connect the power up. Now let's pause the game. Sorry, excuse me. Let's pause the game and have a look. We are almost at the end of the cycle. A little bit of time left. So we're just going to pile up the work for them. One tip is don't connect the power just yet until your battery is connected. Right, now we have dug out most of the stuff. We have a lot of oxalite giving us oxygen. We are breathing fairly well. Okay. And also, I have avoided digging those two because it is sand up there. As you can see before, the sand will fall down. If you dig it out, the sand will fall down, and then it will, you know, create some sort of nuisance that you, that we don't want to waste time on right now. Because the first day, time is very, very important. Okay, they're gonna finish building everything. All right. Oh, okay. Everybody go to toilet. Go eat. So that's our first day. Alright. That's it. Day 1. We haven't finished off everything. We haven't really finished off everything. We have plenty of oxygen, so we don't have to worry about that. We have plenty of food. Look, we started off at 16,000, now we're at 26,000 because we've dug out 10,000 macro. So food, actually we can last a lot longer now. We originally said it's going to be just over 5 days of food. Now, it's a little bit over 8 days with our current number of dupes. Look, they're grabbing things out of the ration box and they start eating their food. In the schedule, they're almost at the end of their downtime. You see how I said 2 downtime is absolute minimum? Look, they're like talking to each other. Now, whoop. If they have this little eye thing, that means they're sleepy, they're going to sleep. Okay, they're going to sleep. They're gonna walk up the stairs and go to their cot and start sleeping. That's day 1. If you can finish your toilet, your bedroom, close it in as a room. Now, I didn't mention room before. Now, I'll give you the room overlay, which is the right hand top corner over there. You can see they're colored. They have colors, so they are dedicated functional spaces for, this is called a barrack. You can see when you move it over under the room overlay, it's called a barrack. All barrack is needing is just some cots. Okay, 1 or 2 beds, no, 1 or more beds, and maximum tile size is 64, and as long as it's bigger than 12, that's good. Well, as soon as you fit 3 beds in it, that's 12 tiles. That's 4 tiles each bed, 12 tiles done. So on the first day, you'll definitely set up a barrel, and the effect is morale +1. What morale? What is morale? It keeps them happy. You need to keep a high morale so they're happy. If you get morale becomes lower, they become not happy. And they'll have different effects. Now on the right hand side where our toilet or this latrine, the morale +1. Now morale is this. You can see there are morale 4. The green is how much morale they have. And if you hover over it, it says it's a standard dupe. Okay, it's 1 morale. New Hope that just started, so that's a 2 morale. They visited a latrine, that's 3 morale. They got a downtime bonus, so they got any downtime that you give them above 1 is going to give 1 morale. So we give them 2 downtime slots, they get 1 morale. If we give them 3 downtime slot, they get 2 morale. Okay, and they're sleeping in a barrack, they get 1 extra morale. Decor is poor, so they didn't get any morale. Negative or positive is a 0. And they ate a grisly meal, they get 1 less morale. So what is morale? So morale allows, so the more morale you have, the more skills you can learn. And the more morale you have, the positive effect they're going to have. So remember, when we pick our dupes, we say, okay, just focus on the trades. Just focus on the trades and their interest. They also have a stress a stress reaction. So if they're stressed, they become vomiters. So this one, who is this? This is Camille. If she is stressed, she's gonna vomit. But if she's happy, she's gonna put sticker bumps everywhere. Okay? This will be different to Catalina, where she's also a vomiter when stressed, but she becomes super productive when she's happy. Now, what does Bubble do? Bubble is a sticker bomber again. Is happy or binge eater, so she's gonna eat more. Morale, we should be able to keep it really, really high if we play it normally. And yeah, so at the moment, don't worry about morale. If you had a barrack done, a latrine done, you're sweet with morale. Okay, let's let them sleep. Now they will sleep until their stamina is 100%. Right, it doesn't matter their sleep cycle has finished. The most important thing is they go to bed during this bedtime cycle. Alright, day 2. Alright, day 2. Day 2 is one finishing of the research station, and we need to find a proper place for them to eat and proper place for them to sleep. The sleeping, I like to put it up here. I like to put the sleeping up here. I think I will move it up here. However, there's a little annoying shine bug up there. Now shine bugs, the annoying part is they will wake up your dupe. If they are like over, if the shine bug is here, the light that it produces will wake up your dupe. So we need to find a way. I want to avoid digging our wild plants, except for muckroot. So I'm going to dig out a few things. And I'm going to move my bedroom up here and hopefully also not disturb my not disturb, but hopefully the shine bug is not gonna be there. Alright, hold on. So they're building this instead of building the batteries, which is delaying our research production. I'm going to go to the priority on the bottom and say construction a little bit higher. Do this first. So what will happen is Bubble is now going to come down and go over there and finish the battery building. See how she's doing that? And in the same at the same time, I'm going to build some cots in here. I'm gonna wait for Camille to, sorry, not Catalina to finish digging. All right, there we go. Okay, now our battery is connected. Machine is up and sort of ready to go. We're gonna connect the pipe, the electrical wire together. And on the research station, you can click on the research, or you can press the R on the keyboard. Now, here's the research tree. A bit daunting, but remember the first 2 columns. So these ones over here are everything you can research. I prefer to go to supercomputer really fast. Okay, and the reason being is I want to create a room that speeds up my my research. So that's that. Now, in order to create a room, I gotta put it together as a room. On the room overlay, you can see there's a laboratory. You need science buildings inside the laboratory, okay? So I'm creating that room for the laboratory. Oh. Let's hope this shine bug is gonna stay out of this room. Otherwise, I'll have to kill it. Sometimes you have to kill the bug. Alright, look at that. Camille is riding on the manual generator. But I say, that's not good enough. Why? Because I don't want you to do everything else and then come and run on a manual generator. I want you to run it as soon as, if you have nothing else to do, come and run on a manual generator. And that's what she's gonna do. So she's generating this power. See how the battery is charging up, 7.9, 8. Now batteries has their sizes. When they fill up, Camille's gonna get off, and then she's going to do the research. Now, the research station now says awaiting delivery. It needs 750 kilos of dirt. Okay, we'll see where that's gonna come from. Okay, see, Camille's picking up the dirt. She's gonna put the dirt into it, 240 kilo, and she's gonna start researching. And then everyone else will help just finishing off. All the while, we need to keep our eye on the copper ore. Because we are using a lot of metal right now. And if that goes low, we'll have to find more ore. But in fact, I am just going to get Catalina to dig out a bit more, like these, and the muck root, and these. And I'll just ask her to do that. So we're going to collect a little bit more metal. Because it is the most scarce resources right now, right? Okay. You can see there are some plants now. We have dug out a bit further from our original position. We can see a bit further. So we know this is muckroot. Now this is a spindle grubroot plant. Basically it's food. It produces a little bit of food for us. So we can go and pick that up. And when we have the means of accessing that, we will do that. Okay. All right. So we have done our beds in a different area now. We can deconstruct these ones. Oh, look! This little plant looks a little bit different. It says harvest ready. This means we can actually go into the harvest mode in there, and you can see they're red or green. We want to harvest them whenever they are ready. Okay? If they're ready to harvest, we're gonna harvest them. So any of these, we can just harvest, and same as these. We're not gonna worry about those. Same as these and same as these. Alright? But some of these plants we cannot access just yet, because they're a bit further away, they're locked behind some granites. You can see we can't get through granite. Okay. Also, this shine bug is gonna fly around, and I'm just gonna lock them out of certain areas. Okay, we finished the research. We got a water cooler. We got a crafting station. And we got a wood heater. Right now, we don't have to worry any of that. The focus is, well, my preference is to get that initial supercomputer up and running. And our food, as we dig out further and further and further, we're going to find more and more food. So we don't have to worry about food too much. And right now I'm not producing any oxygen either. There's no need, because we have a lot of oxalite. Okay. Now one thing... Alright, yeah. Okay, since we are going to build our supercomputer over there, I'm gonna deconstruct this ration box now. Oh, somebody. Oh, okay. So Catalina has gone idle. She has dug out she has harvested a meal lice. Meal lice is worth 600 kilocalories. Unfortunately, it will spoil if we don't keep it Or if we don't eat it, if we don't keep it fresh. Now muckroot, they don't spoil. They stay fresh forever. Okay, so that's why they are very good. A very good food source at the beginning. Now, as we have nothing to do, we're gonna just dig out some areas first. See what we can do. Alright. Now most of these oxalites are depleting. And as they deplete, they will fall. Alright, now we have nowhere to store our food. But this is temporary. Right, Bubble's gonna run on the machine because it's fallen down 50%. Okay, now there is another shine bug in here. I'm not too worried about it because it's all the way over here and it's not gonna get to our bedroom. As long as the bedroom is safe, there's no shine bug over there, and that's fine. That's our day 2. So just clearing, digging, making sure there's a lot of spaces that we are creating. Alright. I'm gonna measure some rooms. This is 15. I'm gonna put a door there and put a tile and a tile up there. And I'm gonna put some ladders. Alright, we are going to close off this room. Don't be afraid if you have to dig out some oxalite. If the oxalite is in your way, feel free to dig it out. It's no problem. Remember that water cooler? I'm just gonna put it in here. The water cooler will come in handy as a recreational building for our dining room. Oh! Look, we've done our research. This little red icon means there's no more research being done at the moment. We need to queue up another research, and the next one that I like to do is make sure that we know how to do a ration box so we are storing food again, and also we got an electric grill and a mess table. Okay, we're gonna do that research, and also we now have our supercomputer. We need to bob it down here and make sure it's built fast. All the other telescope and the mini pot we don't have to worry about. So we just let it go. We're almost at the end of day 2. So day 2 is really just, the focus is finish your research station, move the bedroom to somewhere that is more suited, and start your dining area, you know, designation. What I am building here is a little ditch that where we're gonna store our food in. See, Catalina is coming to help do that, and she is going to build all of this. Alright, our supercomputer is done. Now if we have a look at the room overlay, this is now a laboratory. The reason for the laboratory is, if we look at Camille, she's got a lab workspace, and this is 10% speed. She's also got a lit workspace because the printing pot itself has a light shining on her. If we have the light overlay, you can see there is some light, 500 lux of light. It's a little bit dim light, but it's still enough light for Camille to have this lit workplace. And she gets 15% speed. So together she gets a faster 25% speed. It's a minor bonus, but it's a bonus nevertheless. And why? Because as you're doing research, the research station consumes per research point, and it consumes power per second. So the faster you can do your research, the less power it consumes, but it doesn't consume less material because it's per point. So the faster you do, the more resources you need to put in it. Well, there's the same amount of resource, but just more frequent, because you're consuming those resources faster for researching. Right, but you do save on the power. Alright, there we go. This is a day 2 done. This is the second day. Right, as you can see, they still don't have anywhere to eat. They're sitting on the floor. They can go to the toilet. Camille decided to go to the toilet first. And if we go to the oxygen overlay, we can see our base is pretty good, very well, oxygenated. Next. Alright, so they're gonna have somewhere to sleep. They're gonna eat. They're gonna use a toilet, so everything is in order. They're washing their hands. They are not getting their germ outside. You can see Bubbles is full of poison germs, right? Food poisoning germ. But when she washes it, and it disappears. It's gone. What happens if she does not wash? She's going to touch the food box. She's going to contaminate all of these food with food poisoning germs. And then when they eat it, they might throw up. They get food poisoning effect. And that is not fun. Okay, they're going to sleep. Why is Camille still down here? Oh, okay, there we go. She's now gone to sleep. She's going to be a bit late to her sleep schedule, and she's going to wake up a little bit late on her sleep schedule. Okay. Alright, that's day 2. Day 3. Day 3, we are going to really kick in the research, as well as we're going to build some dinner tables, put a proper place where we have food, put in a proper place where we have cooking as well, right? We're going to connect the power, so we're going to finish all of that work in day 3. Now, because we are also digging out of our base now, we're going to be a little bit further away. You can see Camille actually took a while to eat. She also almost missed her sleep. We're going to give everybody an extra downtime. So now they have 3 downtimes. Now we're going to introduce new dupes. Our next production from the printing pod, we're going to get a new dupe. And it's going to half a cycle, we're going to get it. So we need extra schedules to make sure that we can... we can contain all of our dupes. And we don't want to put them all on the same timeline. We don't want them all going to the downtime together. So I'm going to space them out a little bit and call the schedule 2. And I normally click them 3 spaces. I go 1, 2, 3. And this is schedule 3. This is how I like to do it. It's up to you how you want to do it. Space out your... But I highly recommend don't put your dupes all on the one time schedule. Otherwise, they're all going to go use the toilet together. Then you're gonna have not enough toilet. You're gonna have to build more tables for them to eat. Alright, and the last schedule, that's schedule 8. Right, because it's 24 hours and 3 blocks difference each schedule, so that's 8 schedules. Alright, done. So we're going to let them finish building all of this. I'm going to dig out a few things just to make some room. Alright, Catalina's going to come in. And as the oxali falls, I'm just building in more tiles. You don't have to, you can just build it in like that. It just means the extra stuff are going to fall. Debris is going to lift on the floor. It's not a big deal. Alright, so I'm building this shape because this is where I'm going to put in all of my stuff. So hopefully this... Alright, they're building it. Okay, now this water cooler, you have to be very focused on that. As soon as it's built, disable the building. Otherwise we are wasting water. Now remember, water is not renewable at the very beginning. Gonna speed it up, let them see, there we go, trigger. Okay, we're gonna building some tiles. We're gonna move around. Okay, now what happened here? What happened here? If we look at the material overlay, oh, we trapped some carbon dioxide in here. Alright, we trapped some carbon dioxide in here. This is intentional. This is intentional to trap carbon dioxide in here, because when food is stored in a carbon dioxide environment, they decay slower. Remember this meal ice that is going to decay every 13% per cycle? This is going to go off in like 8 cycles. So we don't want that. And one of the ways to not have that happen is put them all in a carbon dioxide pit. Now we're going to ask them to put everything into the ration box. Our research has also finished. We can also build... no, not yet. I'm thinking about the grill. Alright. It's very important that we finish all of this work. And we finish building a ration box. Our oxygen is still very good because the amount of oxalide that we have. Okay, once we finish building a ration box, we can start to put everything in there again and give them a little bit higher importance. So what that means is, if they have nothing else to do, put all the food into the ration box. Okay. We got 90 seconds till our first production. So this is day 3. This is all day 3. It's just fixing up. Okay, where are you gonna put the food? Where are you gonna sleep? Now, unfortunately, we don't have a fourth bed for our new dupe. I'm gonna create a space. Right, see, now Bubble's gonna collect that meal ice, and she's gonna go back to there and then put a meal ice in there, and then I'll show you what it does. Right, we're gonna just put an extra bed in here. 40 seconds. Alright, let's have a look. The meal ice. Look at that. The meal ice now only have a negative 9% per cycle, and it's in a sterile environment, 0% per cycle. Right, so this now lasts 11 cycles instead of 8 cycles before. So we now made our food last a little bit longer. And that means we can probably go up there, dig through there, and grab some food there. Right, we're gonna do that very soon. Okay, 14, 13 seconds, 8, 9. While that's happening, I'm just going to lock in this shine bug. Oh, we got our print. So we're gonna see, okay, every 3 cycles we are going to get something like this. Alright. Okay, we're getting some options here. We can have a rocketry and tidying, we can have a supplying and sewer, or we can have a cooking and operating. Out of all of this, I am not taking anemic, because if they're anemic, they can't walk. They're really slow, and it takes a long time for them to overcome the anemic. Even though this person is interested in cooking, I can't take anemic. It's just really bad. Later on you might be able to, when you have a lot of dupes working around. Taking anemic is not too, like, they will be very late game. But anemic, you want to avoid. Decreased science, you also should be avoiding. It depends on what you also get as a positive, okay? Now over here we have rocketry and tidying. And deconstruction. Now rocketry and tidying we are not immediately in need of. Gonna put them aside. and snazzy red suit. You can take this. This gives a very nice decor of 40. You put on your duplicant, and your duplicant feels happy about it. All right. So my choice here is, if I get a duplicant, I'm going to get an immediate effect of increasing my productivity by 33%. Right? Just one extra pair of hands. I'm not going to take the anemic. No way. This is not an immediate need, right? Rowan is no. Stinky, he is learning slower, but he has supplying, so he can go around and do all kinds of, you know, putting things in a box, collecting things, right? She can do all of that. And also, there's suit wearing, athletics. He runs really fast. So you can get to places back and forth and doing all that kind of stuff. He's got an animal lover, and that means I can get him to do ranching very fast. And also, he's got an improved food morale bonus. So when he eats, he doesn't taste bad. Right? He's got a shriveled taste buds. So this is actually a good, despite slow, you know, decreased size, is a very terrible negative trait. However, because this dupe is going to be so early in your colony, he's going to have way more attributes than anyone else. Okay, later on you're going to get. So I'm going to take Stinky, and he's going to come into our colony. There we go. Here's our Stinky. Another thing. When a duplicate is printed, they automatically comes with one skill point. And we can give that skill point to grilling. Like, so now he can cook. Like, you can activate cooking straight away. And you can get them into ranching. So they can get to ranching very fast. So we're going to just go to get him to do cooking. So he is now able to cook. We go to our priority. Now we have Rowan. We now have Stinky. Remember, everybody's not allowed to cook. He is allowed to cook. Alright. And he can go around and tidy and supply. He's going to be interested in that. Ranching, we're going to leave it out until a little bit later, maybe. Okay. However, schedule also, he comes in perfectly on schedule 5. He's going to start work the whole cycle, so I'm going to put Stinky into this schedule. And he's got a bed up there too. Right, perfect. Now everything falling into place on day 3. Right, we got a dupe. We got an extra hand. He's going to supply. Look at him, he's already helping Camille supplying the research station. He's pulling the sandstone, and he's gonna go up and help Bubbles supply into those blocks that she's building, so she doesn't have to move around. Alright, look at that, Bubbles already idle. I'm gonna dig through a few things right here. Now this shine bug needs to get in there. There's a few ways to get the shine bugs to go where you need to go. Alright. Oh, research is done. So what do we get? We got the electric grill. We're going to bob it right up here. And that's why I built the station over here. So what's going to happen is Stinky, when there is something to cook, he's going to cook. Alright, he's going to come in and cook. When there's nothing to cook, he's going to help out the base. So that's perfect. Next research, we need to grab this. And also we need to think about the future. The future is smart battery. The next thing is smart battery. And smart battery needs automation wire. Okay. This is the future of oxygen not included past turn 3. Alright, we're going to take this one. We need smart battery, the smart home research, right there. Getting some automation wires and stuff. Alright. That's the next thing. Now, the grill, as you can see, it needs power too. So we need to connect the cable. We can just pass the cable around like this. Now why am I going through the tile? Because the cable is ugly. It doesn't look nice. Oh, he's trapped. Let me put a door over here and then open this one so he can go in, and then I'll lock it and remove that door. Okay, so that's not too immediate. Alright, we also have unlocked mess table. However, look, guess what? We don't have enough ore. We don't have enough metal ore again, so we need to find some more metal ore. Where do we have metal ore? We have metal ore here. So we're gonna just dig that through. And I'm sure Catalina is more than happy to go digging. You can see how fast Stinky is with the athletics. Even though he's a slow learner, he is really fast. Okay, as you're digging through sand, look, the sand's gonna fall down. Sand is falling down. Now we need to check the room overlay and make sure this room size is not gonna become too big for a bedroom. Okay, this is still a barrack. Even though those two rooms are connected, it's still a barrack. Alright, we've got the second door. Now we are going to issue the command to open. This is considered a toggle, right? We're toggling it to open. This is an utmost important on the priority list. So somebody is going to come when they are free to toggle that open. And I think Stinky is, what's he doing? He's storing. So alright, Bubble's going to stop doing everything else. She's going to come up and toggle that open. And then the shine bug is going to go, oh, thank you, Bubble. I'm no longer trapped. And we'll wait for it to go in there. Ah, we just finished research again. You can see how fast Camille is now researching with all the bonus of the room. Now, we have enough metal now. We're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4 tables so they can eat there. Now, unfortunately, they're not going to benefit from this room bonus of being a like mess table and everything, but that's okay. We also have finished a flower pot from our research. We're gonna bob that down right next to it. We can put a flower in there and that'll make everything looks a little bit more beautiful, and that is nice, right? We want to treat. Okay, flower pot. Oh, there's no flower in there yet. Okay, what can we put in there? Nothing apart from a buff briar. Okay, plant a buff briar. You can see Stinky's already helping Camille. So Stinky's role is basically help out the entire base. Alright, the day has finished. Boom. We got a flower pot. We got a beautiful if we check out the decor, this is providing plus buff briar is 25 decor all the way over here, but not here. The buff briar no longer provides decor, so only four tiles on either side that the buff briar will be able to provide decor. The shine bug will also provide decor, so you can keep it in your dining room. It will look nice. And Stinky is gonna, while everyone else is like eating, going to bed, and putting in, our Stinky is going to help out with supplying everything, maybe a little bit of building when he has done everything else. So that's the first 3 days. We have laid out our toilet in the first day, second, and our bedroom, well, our temporary bedroom, and then day 2 is really get the power up and running. We will have the research station up and running, right? Everything and relocating our bedroom somewhere that is more suited. Day 3, we got our research station room buff created. We are this is a recreation room right now, so everybody is in here. We're building a proper area for putting our food with carbon dioxide pit right here. You can see all the carbon dioxide sinking here. And day 3, we're also gonna start our dining area, getting all the rooms, knowing where it's happening. And then day 4 onwards is mass expansion. Right? We're gonna start digging, start looking for things, getting food, getting muckroot, knowing where the, maybe picking this fruit down. We're gonna harvest this. This is harvest ready, and then we can pick it off, put it in our grill, cook it, get a better meal. Right? All of that thing's gonna happen from day 4. Alright, if you like this show, I'll stop this tutorial. This is already being too long. If you like this show, give it a like, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Now, this is Big Potato, and you are watching Spot Sanctuary, and I'll see you next. Thank you. Bye-bye.